Hello, this is Maciek, the diligent linguist. Welcome to my next video. I have recently been asked about the practical difference between the following two questions in the Polish language. Kto to jest? And kim on jest? To be specific, students have been asking about the actual difference between the question pronouns kto and kim. When people try to translate them without context, it seems that both of them mean who. First of all, let's try to provide example answers to both questions written on the board. Kto to jest? To jest nowy nauczyciel. Kim on jest? On jest nowym nauczycielem. The main visible difference is the grammatical case, the basic nominative case in example number 1 and the instrumental case in example number 2. But surely there must be some kind of practical explanation too. Notice the use of the pronoun to in the first sentence and the personal pronoun on in the second one. The situation with on is quite clear. It is a masculine pronoun meaning he. Let's focus on the word to. Some of you may think that it functions here as a demonstrative pronoun communicating neuter gender. Ten chłopak, ta dziewczyna, to dziecko. However, this is not really the case. Look, I can easily use to in the subject position at the beginning of a sentence to represent any gender. Kto to jest? To jest chłopak, to jest dziewczyna, to jest dziecko. What is important, you don't know the gender of the actual subject until you read or hear the last word. Now, let's compare it to the versions with personal pronouns. On jest chłopakiem, ona jest dziewczyną, ono jest dzieckiem. We can see the noun endings, so-called inflectional suffixes, typical of the instrumental case. We can no longer use the nominative base forms found in dictionaries. Why? Look again at our original examples. What do we know about the subject after reading question number 1? Nothing. Only the question word kto suggests that it's a person, probably a human being. However, in example number 2, we do know that the subject is masculine. We're talking about one male, a guy. So, coming back to our original question, when we ask kto to jest, we communicate that we know nothing about the subject. Of course, we can normally see or at least guess the biological sex, but the overall impression is that our mind is blank. We want to identify the subject somehow. On the other hand, when we ask kim on jest, we already indicate a tiny degree of familiarity. We know at least that the person is a male. We may even know the person's name, for instance. Let's turn our two examples into a single dialogue. Kto to jest? To jest pan Kowalski. Kim on jest? On jest nowym nauczycielem. Imagine that your idea of the subject is like an empty box in your mind. First, we ask kto to jest to attach some kind of mental label to the box. The word to is like an empty sticker. The second line allows our mind to put the actual caption, to label the box. Pan Kowalski. When we later ask kim on jest, we intend to add more information about the already identified, already labeled subject. The word nauczycielem in this position would be called a subject complement. It adds more information about the grammatical subject expressed as the personal pronoun on. It doesn't have to be the name or profession. It may express the person's marital status or nationality, for example. It serves the subject like a tool. It is instrumental in describing it. Can you see now why it is called the instrumental case? Okay, but it is also true that in the first sentence, the pronoun to in the position of the subject and the proper name pan Kowalski also indicate the same person. However, the word to tells us practically nothing about the subject. Our mental picture of pan Kowalski is an empty box. It's not like in the second half of the dialogue, where we add new information, that Mr. Kowalski is a teacher. to what we already know. We are updating our knowledge. Aleksander Kiklewicz from University of Olsztyn calls this use of to a subject duplicate. And to me this term makes a lot of sense. We are not adding new features. We are filling in an empty space so that what we learn about the person is exactly the same what we know about that person. After hearing the sentence to jest pan Kowalski, the meaning of to equals pan Kowalski. You may start a conversation about a new person with either kto to jest or kim on jest. Both forms will be correct. Kim on jest will convey a feeling that you're slightly less interested in just identifying the person and more in learning something about him or her. We are requesting a subject complement, remember? When you ask kto to jest, you are requesting to fill in the blank space in your mind. Additionally, kto to jest may communicate a feeling of surprise, curiosity, and may even be received as slightly more emotional. Imagine that your grandmother enters the room while you're playing the beat-em-up computer game Mortal Kombat, and she sees the scary scorpion ninja character. She may be surprised or shocked and will ask kto to jest, not kim on jest. What is more, some people might even ask co to jest, pretending that they can't even tell if the character is human, if it's a living creature at all. The grandmom may be able to recognize the character from the game as a male human, but she will want to express her shock related to Scorpion's unusual appearance. There is a great example of the two discussed types of questions in the film Chłopaki nie płaczą, directed by Olaf Lubaszenko. Look at the first sentence spoken by an angry gangster who believes that the man with whom he wanted to do business had basically shown him great disrespect and wasted his time.
No właśnie. Kim ty w ogóle kurwa jesteś, pajacu?
It's a rhetorical question. By calling the man a clown and asking kim ty jesteś, the gangster is reducing the other guy's status in his eyes. There is no shock, no surprise, just disrespect and contempt. He is throwing all the good features out of the mental box, the container. So basically what he's trying to say is, I know you and you're nothing. And now listen to the next example. The other man is at hospital and learns that the angry gangster has survived a gunshot to the head because he had a titanium implant in the frontal part of his skull.
A co on jest, kurwa, Robocop?
Note the unusual phrase co on jest. Some people will tell you it's not grammatically correct. I've already told you you can use co in reference to people to indicate shock, surprise. The surprised and shocked speaker already knows the man who had insulted him in the previous scene. The fact that he survived basically explains his use of co and obviously the comparison to Robocop. The use of the pronoun to wouldn't make sense, so he ungrammatically or perhaps marginally grammatically combines to with on and says co on jest. What is he? I hope my explanation will prove helpful to you. If you have further questions regarding the contrast between kto and kim, or perhaps the Polish instrumental case, please leave a comment. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to receive a notification whenever I publish new materials. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and never stop learning languages. Bye bye.